So I'd like to invite Professor Lei Huangjie and Libing Chuan and Professor Thierry Menard to sit here. And in any one of you would like to raise the question, please press the button. You have the microphone in front of you. Push the button continuously while you are speaking. And all those who are joining us online, please write down your questions in chat session, chat room. Thank you very much. So anyone would like to ask the question? Those speakers, of course, who are present here, because those who are offline already cannot, please.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
All right. Thank you, all of you. Thanks to all of you. One of the speakers was commenting about China and modern technology, modern science. You know, a lot of the techniques were brought from the West. How come China didn't pick up on it? One thing I had read and I think everyone is aware, up until short of the Enlightenment or Renaissance, China and India were the most advanced empires in the world. But it seems that it kind of stagnated. It had reached kind of a pinnacle, didn't move forward. And one person speculated was because China was very homogenous. If someone had come up with a good idea, if it didn't grab hold by the rulers, it would be dropped. Where in Europe, very fragmented, someone had an idea, their local ruler didn't like it, they would go to another ruler, you know, till eventually it would come out. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, maybe Professor Thierry Menard. And
yes, I think of course, we know the work of Professor Joseph Needham. He was in Cambridge, and Professor Needham has written the history of science in China. And also he developed many argumentation about why China has not developed modern science as we know. I think my understanding also is that is about cultural and educational mediation. Is to say that in Europe in the 16th, 17th century, you have a very big network of local societies. I mean, starting already in Italy in 15th century, you have the academies, and after you have in all Western Europe and in Eastern Europe, you have all those clubs, and they meet and they diffuse the knowledge. But in China, and perhaps Professor Lei can correct me, perhaps in China, this knowledge, scientific knowledge, was mostly limited to the court of the emperor, or to some bureau like astronomical bureau, and this knowledge did not diffuse so widely into the society. So I think the key issue for us today in the 21st century is about education. What are the tools and that this knowledge can be diffused?
Thank you very much. Would you like to answer? Yes, thank you. Another comment or question? Yes, please. Yes.
Can the panel please tell me when the heliocentric view of the universe was first introduced to China, and by who?
I can say a few words about it. In fact, the Jesuits, they were bound because they needed, since the Vatican made a decision in 1616 to repudiate Galileo and the Copernic system. And so the missionary in China, they were bound to diffuse in China not the Ptolemaic system, but what we call the Tycho Brahe system, is to say that the Earth is at the center, is immobile, and you have the sun with rotating, and but the other planet, all the other planets are rotating with the sun and not with the Earth. So that in fact they were stuck to do that, but still there were a few Jesuits who presented as a kind of alternative. They presented in Chinese as an alternative also the system of Copernicus, but it was presented as a kind of another possibility, and it was kind of more academic way and neutral way of presenting it, but not of promoting it, because we could not do it. So basically, there was already the system of heliocentrism was introduced, but not promoted as such.
Anyone else? Yes? No questions. Yes. Online. Okay, last chance for the last question, and then we. Yes, please.
Yeah, question. It's no doubt the orbit already contribute a lot of the science development in China, but fundamentally, his status is a missionary, the follower of Jesus Christ. So my question is, anything his achievement on the missionary work, for example, how many Christian he convert, or how many church he built up. Something also as a rumor, something like the Guangxi emperor was converted as a Christian. Yes or no? Just my questions. Yeah, thank you.
So I don't think Kangxi emperor converted into Christian, and actually, from bottom of his heart, he's a little bit looked down upon all those Christianity and foreign religions, and even the Western learning. I read it in the book written by Professor Spence. His inner world about his things. Foreigners really are not that intelligent. So this, I think, his attitude to the religion is all up to all from the concern for his own sovereign to his the whole country. So the first question is very important. I think very interesting. Actually, I think Robert actually was already being blamed for work too much for the secular power, and actually he accepts the title of official title from the Qing dynasty. Innocent, but I realized that when after the case of Yang Guangxian, the emperor, all the human resource, like this human resource minister, tried to appoint Verbist as the director of Qin Tianjian. Okay, he just refused, and even his title as a vice director of Qin Tianjian is not officially accepted. He always used the title of administration of calendar 治理立法. He's very cautious about using the official title, but he still and attacked for serve for too loud. Actually, as Jesus, they have a very important principle to obey the Roman Pope. It's their duty to follow the rule of the Roman Pope. And also, if you see that, I also mentioned about his work as a mystery. We have really a very little record. We don't know. We don't see his public preach activities. One reason probably because he was too busy on the academic, administrative affairs and scientific, all those things, and also he also very cautious to be not to be to do too much, so that he cannot offend the authority of the emperor. For him, that would be have a very important, very bad effect for his work as a missionary. But his strategy is following Richard Matthew, is to preach for through the upper class. So probably it's different with other like San Francisco and Dominic. Dominic missionaries. So he also there are a lot of controversial about his work. Actually, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Just turning around the direction of question, what can be said about things that the West on its path to modernity learned from the encounter with China? Just raising some examples. There are speculations why China did not pick up modern science after having been in touch with the basis of modern sciences through Jesuits. But can it also be said that movements like Western Enlightenment and the growth of modernity was inspired by some worldviews that were transported by missionaries to the West? So, for example, the idea of a normative system, an ethics system that is not bound to a religious worldview, essential for ideas like enlightenment, essential for ideas of modern politics and so on. So can it be paradoxically said that the Christian missionaries in China kind of brought secularization, modern secularization, back to the West?
Thierry Menard would be competent to answer this question. Maybe.
Yeah. I think in some way we can say that there is that, but of course it was not the purpose of the missionaries to promote secularism in Europe, but yes, but practically what happened is that when the Enlightenment thinker like Voltaire, they realized that there was a society like China that did not really rely on a society, did not rely on a church. So for them, it became a model to follow. Right? And so it was, yeah. And so some people, scholars in China, they claim that also some ideas of modernity, like the secularism, but also even equality, things like that, also originate from China. That the idea of political freedom also comes from China.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we cannot prolong any longer this interesting discussion.